Tensions are rising in South Africa. Frustrated protesters are taking to the streets again, demanding illegal immigrants be sent home. Let's take a look at what's been unfolding in parts of Johannesburg. Joining us now is the founder of the March and March movement, Jacinta Zuma. Jacinta, thank you for your time. That video is pretty confronting to watch. Of course, it was from a couple of weeks ago, but gives us a bit of an insight into what's been unfolding in Johannesburg. But we appreciate you making the time to talk to us about what it's actually like in South Africa at the moment. Can you just talk to us about some of those key issues your country is facing and why you're behind the March to March movement?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Firstly, I just want to emphasize that, as you can see, that that is a fed-up community that has been going out of hand, unfortunately, which is not part of our movement. But unfortunately, this is what we have been warning the government about as the consequences of ignoring the cries of South Africans when they complain about the issue of illegal immigration. I mean, it's not the first time that something like this has happened. In 2008, South Africans had a very, very violent cases of people being fed up of illegal immigrants. And it's not correct, obviously, with there's xenophobic attacks, etc., which is something we also don't condone. But we also don't condone a government that does not listen to the people when they say that we've had enough of all these people who are in this country in millions and millions and getting away with a whole lot of crime. There's a whole lot of unemployment going on in this country. On top of that, our resources are overstretched, and now we have to fight with them, with whose government has completely failed them. And now we have a duty to take care and service the rest of Africa because our government doesn't have a backbone.
So how did it get to this point? And my understanding is you met with ministers, you approached police. What was their response to you?
Look, our government has made it a very, very big habit to pretend as though they're doing something sometimes when they're doing absolutely nothing. So we've been getting all these empty promises of, oh, we will do this, we'll do that. I mean, our president even went on television and promised that they're going to be dealing with the issue of migration. And he said a couple of things. We'd have more enforcement, more deportations, etc. But in real life, on the ground, it's impossible for them to do that because they don't even have enough vehicles. They don't even have enough places to keep all these immigrants that we have in the country who are here illegally. They don't even have the means to verify who's here. They don't even have addresses of the refugees that claim that they're refugees in the country. In fact, they're scattered all over the country. The entire country is now a refugee site where everyone who just walks in claims that they've got a sad story that we must feel sorry for them about, and then just allow them to start running a business. Because the worst thing about here in South Africa is that refugees have almost exactly the same rights as the citizens of this country. And so that's their betting ground. You know, everyone just comes in and says, hey, I'm a refugee, I'm running away from whatever they're running away from, and we have to take care of them.
Can you talk to us about the border? We understand that the statistics from South Africa's government's body puts the immigrant population at just 3 million, but your organisation puts that figure at around 15 to 30 million. It's a pretty big gap. How do you explain that?
Our government doesn't have an idea of how many people are in the country. There's not even enough statistics to showcase how many people in the country. And those statistics that we have are from people who've submitted it to us via a service provider network, and it's widely spread. I'm sure you can also find that on the internet somewhere. And, you know, there was also a call by the former statistician general that there's about that's 15 to 30 million illegal immigrants in the country. So the number is definitely not 3 million, because currently even the number of refugee applications out there are sitting at 1 million applications alone. And these are people that haven't been approved or processed. And in the beginning of the year, they stopped about 400,000 plus entries into the country at one go. I mean, in one season. So how is it possible that in one entry point in one season, you can be able to do that? Well, not, it might not be one entry point, but it was in one season where people were stopped, and the number was that high. So we're saying it's impossible for the number to be that low. And besides that, these people live in our communities, so we know who they are, and the number is definitely not 3 million.
Okay, what about your marches? Are they having an impact?
Yes, they are having an impact in the sense that we reminded the government of the laws of the country, where they've specified that people are not allowed to hire illegal immigrants, but a lot of employers have been getting away with it. So currently we're seeing a lot of them facing the will of the people, and they have no choice but to abide by the laws of the country, because they can't be labeling us as lawless people, for example, for wanting the laws to be enforced. So we're seeing a lot of South Africans getting employed. Obviously, it's not enough, but also we're not happy. We're seeing a decline in the crime rate. We saw a number of them getting evacuated out of the country, but we're still not happy because the ones that are giving us a proper problem are still refusing to leave, which is the likes of the Nigerians, the Somalians, Ethiopians, the Pakistanis, the Bangladeshis. Those are the ones that have given us a serious problem, and they have this sense of entitlement that somehow they should stay in the country by hook or by crook. So we're just hoping that we'll have a government that takes this seriously and enforces much stricter ways of getting them to leave the country.
There's criticism that the marches have been violent and have been unfairly targeting immigrants. What's your response to that?
Look, if they've been violent, I'm sure by now I would have been arrested. They know very well the marches have not been violent. In fact, the marches have relatively been peaceful given the number of people that the people coming to the marches. I mean, it's unprecedented numbers, marches bigger than any we've seen in the country at all, with no buses being sent out to get people out. People are coming out generically because they feel like they're tired and they want to express themselves.
What about the media's coverage? Do you think this issue is being fairly reported in the media?
I think we've concluded that the media has already chosen a side, and we're happy with that. So we're going to be telling our own stories. That's what we've said, because I remember there was even an incident from one international journalist who came all the way from the USA. And when they arrived here, they came to the march. And, with South Africans, carrying sticks is actually part of a culture, which is the Zulu culture. It has nothing to do with beating people up or violence, because even at a wedding, that's what we carry. The men carry sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And the story turned around from it just being a protest to now it being people using sticks to like hunt down foreign nationals, which is absolutely not true. And even when you tried to correct them, they carried on with that idea or that propaganda that they was trying to spread. So we've had a lot of negative, coverage, and that's why the whole issue of the 30th of June was kind of like blown out of proportion and painted to be something it's not. But here we are, and still carrying on with the fight against this invasion that our country is facing.
What about you? How did you go from being a radio presenter to the founder of March and March?
It wasn't easy, to be honest with you. I think it was exactly my radio, career that led me to this, because hearing people's stories and many of them sharing at how they've been let down by the law when it comes to the issue of someone who's in the country legally and they can't find them, or they are here, but the police are, not willing to move or support their call for that person to be charged or arrested or investigated at least. So there was a lot of issues that, were ending up hurting me when it came to the issue of how South Africans felt like second class citizens in their own country. And on top of that, there was like a television show which we were watching every single Sunday, like a series of shows where from one show they were just drug dealers. It's called Sizoptola. It's always on our shows on our screens every Sunday. And then from there, it was another show, Vuga, where people are just like going around exposing all these crimes that people are committing in the country, and they're not South Africans. And week after week, it would be people coming back from outside of South Africa, but sometimes you'd see the same offenders coming back because of our criminal justice system. So it was just a transition that had to happen, I feel, because, you know, as a South African and as someone who's concerned about the future of this country, I could see that there's no future left for a South African anymore.
How do you feel about the future now, and will the marches continue?
I feel a little bit more hopeful knowing that South Africans now are standing up for themselves, and they're ready to defend their country at all costs. I think it's a bit safer for me to feel a bit of comfort. We're not there yet, but at least it's getting there. And then, you know, the marches are definitely going to be continuing because our government has, as I said, made promises, but to date, we haven't seen those promises yield any results, or we don't see a potential of them yielding results at that, because the things that they have suggested are possible, but there is no means for them to happen. Because we want a border gate, for example. We don't have a mere border gate in the country.
Wow.
And on top of that, there's you know, other neighboring countries who are having economic collapses from all the way from 2008. So all their citizens are just comfortable to just walk in, you know, cross the river and come here and start life, you know. And it can't be, we can't maintain that. You know, our hospitals are overcrowded, our schools are overcrowded, buildings are overcrowded. So we demand border walls, and we demand that the government of this country also talks to the other governments of their neighboring countries to also make sure that they give their people the resources that they deserve. Currently in Zimbabwe, there's a gentleman who's been arrested all because he planned a protest to speak about the issues that they face as Zimbabweans. And nobody's making any noise about it. Our government is quiet about it. You know, you can't be having citizens arrested just because they want to make their voices heard, because the natural effect of that is that those citizens end up collapsing their own countries to come to ours, and it can't be a workable and sustainable model.
Jacinta Zuma.
The interview quickly spread across social media after clips began circulating online. Many viewers described it as one of Jacinta Zuma's most direct public conversations in recent months. During the discussion, she spoke about issues affecting South Africa and shared her personal perspective on several national matters. As with many public interviews, reactions have been mixed, with supporters praising her comments while others questioned or challenged some of her view, whether people agree or disagree with Jacinta Zuma's views. Interviews like this often influence public conversations. They can spark national debate, encourage people to examine policy issues, increase public engagement with current affairs, lead to further interviews and responses from other public figures. Time will tell what longer-term impact, if any, this interview has on public discourse. Picture suggestion: Parliament, South African flag, television cameras, crowd discussing politics. Now it's your turn. What did you think about Jacinta Zuma's Australia interview? Did you agree with her comments? Do you think interviews like this help move important conversations forward? Leave your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends and family. Thank you for watching News with Innocent. See you in the next